and their wives and sons and daughters were taken captive. So David and his men wept aloud until they had no strength left to weep. And verse 5 says, David's 2 wives had been captured, Ahinoam of Jezreel and Abigail the widow of Nabal of Carmel. And therefore David was greatly distressed because the men were talking of stoning him. These are the men that were with him, the 600. They were speaking of stoning him. Each one was bitter of spirit because they found when their sons and their daughters had been taken away. But David, the Bible says, let's read that last part. But David found strength in the Lord his God. Verse 7. David said to Abiathar, the priest, the son of Ahimelech, bring me the ephod. Abiathar brought it to him. You know, the ephod was a special garment, a special gown, a special outfit for the priest. And they used to put it on. The priests used to put on that ephod when they would go before the Lord to make sacrifices. And the reason why they were putting on that garment, is because sometimes when they would do the sacrifice, the blood would spill. So that it was like an apron they had that would protect them from being stained by the blood right into their clothes or their clothes. So he took that, and it was a very special garment for him to go before the Lord. It's like kuna watu wanavaa mavazi kama siku ya leo. My mother used to have mavazi. Zikuwa nguo za kwenda church. They are not put on any other day. So there was, at times you will find they put it on top of the clothes they have, or it is the one they put on that particular day. So that is how the ephod was very, very special. Now verse 8 says, and David inquired of the Lord, shall I pursue this raiding party? Will I overtake them? Pursue them, he answered. You will certainly overtake them and succeed in the race. Bwana Yesu asifiwe sana. Now David went and hid because he was ready. And when they went there, the Bible says the enemy attacked their camp in Ziklag and burnt it with the fire and took everything plus their wives and sons. Now that tells you we are only safe in the presence of the Lord. Bwana asifiwe sana. You can run away from the Lord and think you are safe, and you find yourself in much more problems, because unless the Lord is with you, like Moses said, unless your presence go with us, we shall not move. Because he knew the presence of God meant life for them, meant provision, meant protection for each and every one of them. And so David and the 600 men, when they came back, as we've read there, it was after 3 days. You know why they came back? David, as they advanced to go and fight, the Philistines told their leaders, why is David coming with us? You know, he's not one of us. This guy, maybe when we reach the enemy, he might turn against us. So what happened? They rejected David. Are we together? The Philistines rejected David. And you know, he was living among them. They're the ones who had given him a place where he was living in Ziklag. But they were rejected. And the Bible says they had just gone there for three days. So, you can be out of the presence of the Lord for 3 days and get enough trouble that can send you back to the Lord. Are we together? Now, 3 days are so long that in those 3 days, you can lose everything. Being in the presence of the Lord is everything to us who believe. Because Paul says, for me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. The life I live now, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. And so in 3 days, David had lost everything. They were plundered. And you might even imagine, as soon as they left their camp, the enemy struck, because they came after 3 days. Now, however, the 3 days journey was just enough for David to pursue and recover all. What does it mean? If David would have been allowed by the Philistines to continue fighting with them, probably they would have fought for more days. Hello? And so the longer he would have taken to fight on the side of the enemy, the more loss he would have incurred. We incur. And I want to encourage you, if you are in this service and you are not born again, I want to invite you to Jesus. You have taken long, but in 3 days the Lord can restore you. The Lord can bring you back to him, and you can recover all, because he's a God of promise. Bwana Yesu asifiwe sana. David and his men were walking back. The Bible records there, they were walking 21 miles every day. So imagine, for 3 days, they are walking back 21 miles a day. Those guys were tired. And so when you are tired and you have been spent by the enemy, when you reach home, you find there is nobody to welcome you. There is nowhere to sleep. The city is in smoke. That is what David came to find. And so these men were fatigued. And so they had returned from rejection and disappointment, and they were tired. At times, rejection begets rejection.